Welcome to the Voice of the Global South. The Kolkata rape and murder case has brought back the eerie memory of Nirbhaya case, which had happened in the winter of 2013. The rape was so brutal and murder was so gruesome that it had put every Indian's head down with shame. The recent rape and the recent rape, which has happened 10 years after that 11 years after that incident, had once again brought back the same question: have we done enough? Is the society learned its mistake, what it did in 2013? Have we moved ahead in this rape case? Have we been able to make the places, the nights, the society a better and more secure place for the girls? The answer is absolutely no. As an Indian, as a fellow society, as a fellow member of the same society, I am feeling the pain of this whole rape and murder of that young doctor who was just doing her duty, and some guy, some random guy who came and took away her life in such a brutal manner is something which has pained me and with me, millions and billions of Indians and all over the world. The rape and murder has become so sensationalized in Indian media, and the protest, the massive protest that the Kolkata has witnessed after that is something which is unprecedented in the at least in the past 10 years. There's an organic protest which are happening. The political parties have joined late, but you can see the protest is happening all from all the walks of the life, whether they are advocates, whether they are doctors, whether they are an average citizen, people from all walks of life, people from all age group, they are participating in the protest. And this is not a good sign for India, which is looking its head, which is looking a dream for making India a developed nation by 2047. Development doesn't only mean the GDP, but it also means the better opportunity, the better workplace, the better respect for the women. That is something which is very very important as well. The rape and murder is so much is so much discussed these days that Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he had to include the rape in his 15th August Independence Day speech from the rampart of Red Fort, where he said uh, that it is good. I mean, I'm paraphrasing what he said. He said that uh, it is good that media shows the incident of rape, but it is more important to see what happens to the accused of rapes, something which media doesn't show that often. I believe apart from Nirbhaya's case, no other case has been reported in as much detail, at least aftermath of them, what happened to them, what kind of punishment they have received from the judiciary. That is something which Narendra Modi wanted to highlight, and it's good that he has highlighted that fact. Uh, his speech has actually resonated with lots of Indians who believe the death penalty for these rapists. Uh, and But right now, as an Indian, I am bound to think about one thing: has India become the rape capital of the world? In 2018, Thomson Reuters has conducted a poll. It was a global poll, so I believe the people who are participating in the global poll were having some kind of connections with India. Either they were tourists, or they were having some kind of business interest, or they generally covering India in detail. These people who are well aware about the Indian incidences, they have unequivocally termed India as a rape capital of the world. Is it true? Today I'm not defending here the rape of the rapist. I'm not defending the rights of these so-called misogynistic, patriarchal, male dominating society, or any kind of an accused. I'm just trying to bring some kind of fact. Is India really a rape capital? Let's take a look. The idea is not to pinpoint the blame on India, or for that matter in any other nation, but it is important that we understand the statistics behind that. In the World Bank report suggests that 30% of the female of the women all across the world, they face some kind of uh, some kind of a violence against them. And I'm talking about the worldwide data, not specifically to India. As per the NCRB, the National Crime Report Bureau of Government of India, which is published every year by the Home Ministry, uh, the recent report which is available is 2022, and in 2022 it was reported that on an average every year, India records 31,516 rape cases, which means 90 rapes per day. Is it a good number? Is it a bad number? So frankly speaking, even one number is a bad number. But right now I'm not talking about the number in a standalone terms. I'm going to have a more comparative study, more comparative analysis of the rapes which are happening all across the world. And one thing I can tell you, the rape is something which no nation has been able to solve that, unfortunately. Despite the GDPs of a nation, the cases of rape, the cases of violence against women is still rising. And it means that the rape, the cases of rape cannot be stopped until and unless there is some systemic changes in the way the society thinks and perceives. I will give my analysis little bit later, but for now I'll delve more little bit more deeper into the numbers. If you look at 31,516, the number is pretty high. I mean, I'm sure it's one of the highest among the world. There's no question. If you look the data in as a total, the number is very high. But you have to consider that India has a 1.4 billion population. This brings me to another statistics which we need to think, which we need to refer to. Uh, what is the number of rapes that happens per 100,000 people, and that is something which is globally accepted, statistics or data point that we should all be referring to. Now, if you look at that data, the South Africa has the uh, highest number of rapes per 100,000 people, uh, which stands around to 132.4. As in one of the studies, every one out of four South Africans, they have admitted to commit rape. The numbers are very high for for the nations which are very high in the global happiness index, which are generally high in all the human parameters which you can think of. Sweden has a rate of 65. What is the rate of USA? It is somewhere around 45. Typically, as per one report, normally the last data that we have that is available per 100,000 people, uh, is not from some credible global organization, but there are a lot of watchdogs who keeps a track on these numbers, and there you will find numbers which are slightly different from 65 or 45 or whatever. But it is safe to say that the number in USA is pretty high. In fact, every 1 or 2 minutes in USA, one rape happens. And that is something, a recent data which is showing. What's the number for India? It's meager 2.6 versus 65 of Sweden, 132 of South Africa. And practically, I have seen a lot of data from United Kingdom, from Belgium, Germany, and all those places. And 2.6 is what is among the lowest per capita rapes which happens in India. So should I be very happy about it? Absolutely not. The reason is, there is in 2015, the government of India, they have said that almost 85% of the cases against women goes unreported. Now that is something which is a big worry for me. However, if I factor in those 85% in this 2.6, still I will be getting somewhere around 13 or 14 per 100,000 people. which is still comparatively lower than a lot of Western nations. But there's a problem. The definition of rape, it is very difficult to have a comparative apple to apple comparison between the rape cases of one nation versus the other. The there are a lot of, there are two things which are very important to understand here. One, the first thing is definition of rape. For example, the marital rape in India is not considered as a rape, or at least it is not well defined in our Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, which has been published recently. So the Indian Penal Code or Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita is not mentioned is not talking about the marital rape at all. Now that if we add that, that is a big number. If we talk about the other definition in other countries, some countries, they do not include the rape against men as a rape. That is also one problematic area. In some other countries, they consider rape only if it is a sexual intercourse, a vaginal sexual intercourse, forcefully done. But in some other nations, it includes, the other organs of the body, mouth, whatever other other ways of having an intercourse. Now that is something which is a big problem if we want to compare the rape cases from one nation to other, right? One of the important thing that the domestic if I talk about the domestic violence, which I feel is fairly reported in India, domestic violence in India is around 32%, but in USA it is 24%. In UK it is around 23%. So we are not as bad in terms of statistics as, as we are projected. I'm not saying there is an intention to project us in a bad light, but I'm saying we are not doing that bad in terms of in terms of controlling the rape. But still, the rape is a very big problem, and here we should not be considering who is the number one in rape, or who has the lowest number of rape. Until unless we have one person raped, the society should still continue to ensure that even one person, one girl, one man, whosoever doesn't have any kind of any kind of experience as brutal as rape. Until unless we do not reach to that place, we should not be stopped. By the way, a lot of patterns have been very common across all the nations. Like in India, the government report says that 97% of the rape accused are known to the rape victims. The number is not very low in USA, for example, where 70% people, they know the 70% rapists are the acquaintance of the rape victims. The same number is around 70% or 73% in UK as well. So you can see that one thing which is important to note, that the rape normally is done by the people who you know. So you have to very careful to the very careful with the people who you know. And if you have any kind of a feeling about any person's unwanted approach, or unkind, or trying to impose himself or herself on you, you have to be a little bit cautious about that. That's another thing which has been very common. The other commonalities is the level of education. Generally, the level of education of all the rape victims is pretty low, and there is some kind of a cognitive dissonance. The rape accused, the rapist, they never feel or they never realize that they are raping somebody. They normally feel that they are having a sex. So the difference between having a sex and raping somebody is something is starkly different for these people. For them, even having a forced sex is having a sex. It's not a rape. So uh, there are very important studies, or two very important researchers who have published their reports. One is an Indian lady from India. Her name is Madhumita Pandey. She has she has interviewed 122 rapists in Tihar jail in New Delhi. And before that, much before that, in 1976, there was a PhD student with the name Samuel D. Smithy Man. He was publishing a paper. He wanted to interview rapists. So he has brought up an advertisement asking for asking for rapists to call him so that he can interview him. The title of his report was "The Undetected Rapist." Uh, More than 200 people have called him, who said that they are rapists anonymously, and then 40%, 40 or 44 people, he has interviewed them. He has interviewed them. He was trying to understand the psychology behind the rape, why people are raping somebody. And if you look at the details of these reports, you will understand that people generally do not feel that they are raping somebody. There is a peer pressure, be a man kind of thing, a more masculine idea of rape is that a lot of people feel that they own somebody. They owe the women is a property to them, is an object to them, and then they can do whatever they want to do, and they do not have any remorse. They do not feel that they are raping somebody, right? uh, and a lot of other people, like I said, they're having low level of education, and uh, the cognitive dissonance that I have spoken all about. The other thing that I want to talk to you about is harsher punishment. What Mr. Narendra Modi has said, uh, or for that matter, what the general public of India right now right now wants, that they should be hanged immediately. There should be stricter punishment. There should be even harsh laws. But do you think all these things are going to be a detriment for rape cases? I would like to disagree with this fact. By the way, a lot of people quote the example of Middle East, where the rape cases are very less. But I can tell you one thing: the rape cases are very less because the women are not empowered enough to report to a rape case. Forget about the marital rape case. I mean, that is something unthinkable in Middle East. Uh, that kind of case will ever be reported. But despite that, imagine a girl who is in Middle East, who knows that if she accuse somebody that he has raped her, she's sure that he would be given a death punishment. His head would be chopped off. Now that is something not very easy for any girl to you know go to the police and report this kind of thing, despite the brutality she might have to gone through. Because the human angle still comes in the mind of the girl. So and in Middle East, if a girl is saying that I am raped, then she has to bring two male witness. Now imagine, how would a girl bring two male witness? So in that case, in these kind of circumstances, reporting a rape case in Middle East is practically impossible. So you'll see a lot of rape cases, a lot lesser rape cases in Middle East. And so the idea of comparing Middle East with other countries like India, or for that matter any other country, is something which is farcical, actually, which is not an apple to apple comparison. And the other thing I want to talk to you about uh, is about the reason why Sweden has a very high number of cases. Is the Sweden a worse society than India? Absolutely not. Socially, at least from the women rights perspective, the people are more equal. People enjoy a lot better rights. The girls enjoy lot more freedom in Western nations. There is no doubt about it. But why they are still having a more number of rape cases reported? the Here's the answer. Because there, first of all, the laws are very the laws are very friendly to the women. Women do not have any hesitation, do not have any cultural baggage of reporting a rape case against them. So there's a lot of rape cases which have been reported. If a lot of rape cases and then their definition is very broad, although definition in countries like Germany is very narrow. The definition of rape in Sweden is very broad. Well, the idea is not to compare the two countries from the broad or narrow law perspective. I'm just trying to give you the different kind of the situation which is prevailing right now. So the girls in Sweden, there are wide range of definition of rape, and they are encouraged to report. The police is very friendly, and the girls do not feel the girls do not need to go to a cumbersome, difficult, uh, you know socially challenging kind of a process before they can report a rape case. I guess that's why that's the reason why Sweden has a higher number of rapes than India. In India, still it is very difficult to report a rape case, although girls are coming, but still still a lot needs to be changed before we can actually think that India is whether before we can say that India is reporting is reporting well or is reporting 100% on the rape cases. The final thing that I want to talk to you about is the rape is not something which is only a problem in India. It is a problem worldwide. No nation has been able to solve this rape problem. That is something which you need to understand. And what is the reason? How can we do that? I believe our response system is something which is very important in this time. Unfortunately, with all this cacophonic sound of media, all these noises, all these sense the uh, I would say the race to sensationalize a rape case, uh, actually distract you from 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 hitting the right areas to prevent the rape cases in India, or for that matter in any other nation. uh, right now, everybody is hell bent on punishing the culprit. Of course there has to be punishment, but when all these things were happening, when Kolkata murder, Kolkata rape case was so much sensationalized, and there was so much noise, there was 24 by 7 media was talking about this, so many interviews, so many protests, and all these protests were widely covered. Even that point in time, we have seen rape happened in Uttar Pradesh, in Uttarakhand, in Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu. So, are, are we going to believe that these people who have raped, they were not aware about this protest? They were not aware about the Nirbhaya's case? No, it is very difficult to believe this fact that these rapists, uh, they are not aware about this thing. So the solution doesn't lie in having a stricter punishment, a speedy justice. Of course, justice delays is justice denied. So speedy justice is definitely a must thing. But at the same time, we have to also consider the other facts. The other facts, something which are important. We have to understand the psychology behind the rape. Why anybody, why a rapist rape somebody? How can we prevent that? How as a society, forget about the government, forget about the political parties, forget about the international organization, just think about your neighborhood, just think about the society where you live in. How can you make the society a safer place for the girls? I believe if we are able to, if each one of us tries to achieve that level of uh, of of uh, sympathy, or that level of security, or that level of consciousness uh, in its neighborhood, I believe these rape cases would be much lower than what it is right now. That's all I want to talk about. Thank you very much. Please do share your thoughts about what do you think about this rape victims. Why do they rape? Why the rapes is not stopping in India and elsewhere as well. Thank you.